The film begins by showing Kota, a city once used for executing notorious criminals, which has since spawned ruthless gangsters who control various illegal businesses. In 1996, a police inspector named Shahol Hassan was transferred to this city. On his first day on the job, Shahol asked his subordinate named Tony Titus for a list of the most notorious criminals in Kota. One of the criminals that caught Shahol's attention was Cannon Bai, a brutal gangster who didn't hesitate to threaten and even eliminate police officers and their families who tried to obstruct his illegal operations. Additionally, Cannon often executed people in front of the city's residents. After hearing Tony's account, Shahol went to meet Cannon at his headquarters to demand that the gangster surrender to the police for all the crimes he had committed. However, Cannon showed no fear upon hearing this, and he threatened Shahol that his men would kill his family if he insisted on imprisoning Cannon. Left with no other option, Shahol reluctantly refrained from arresting Cannon, despite the gangster's frequent criminal activities. Following the meeting, Shahol was visibly frustrated, and Tony suggested that he shouldn't dwell too much on the issue with Cannon. Nevertheless, Shahol couldn't accept Cannon's behavior, which had humiliated the police, and he resolved to seek revenge against the gangster. To cheer up Shahol, Tony took him to a roadside coffee stall owned by an older woman named Calicut, who was Cannon's mother. From what Shahol had heard, Calicut often quarreled with her daughter-in-law, Cannon's wife, named Manju, until Calicut was eventually thrown out by Cannon. While they were chatting, an old friend of Tony's, who used to play soccer with him, approached and asked about the whereabouts of Raju. At that moment, Tony seemed reluctant to answer, but the man began speaking ill of Raju, prompting Calicut to become upset and doused the man with water, as she had come to regard Raju as her own son. On the way home, Shahol, curious about Raju, asked Tony about him. Tony then explained that Raju was the person responsible for Cannon losing the sight in his right eye. Switching to Manju, who approached Cannon on the balcony, she expressed that she cared deeply for her younger brother, Jinu, and intended to arrange his marriage with his girlfriend, Rithu. Cannon, known for his deep love for his wife and willingness to fulfill all her wishes, suddenly refused his wife's request for the first time because Rithu was Raju's younger sister. Back with Tony, while driving Shahol home, he shared more about Raju, who used to play on his soccer team along with Cannon. He also mentioned Raju's father, Kota Ravi, a former notorious gangster. Before Raju left Kota, he was despised by his mother, Malati, because he followed in Ravi's footsteps to become a gangster. Malati even expelled Raju, leading to Calicut adopting him as her own son. Hearing this, Shahol became even more curious about what happened to Raju that led to his disappearance from Kota. Tony continued, explaining that 10 years ago, in 1986, Raju was known as the most feared gangster in Kota due to his brutality, especially against the Ranjit Bai gang, Raju's rival in the underworld. Raju would eliminate any of Ranjit's men caught distributing drugs in Kota. Knowing this, Ranjit, a gangster from out of town, aimed to get rid of Raju, but his ambitions never succeeded because Raju was infamous for his ruthlessness. Additionally, Raju, along with Cannon and their friends, including Tony, would earn money from wealthy businessmen who hired them to solve various problems. Unfortunately, they squandered all their earnings on frivolous activities. Despite this, Raju and his group were part of Kota's elite soccer team. One day, after a match, Raju, happy to see his younger sister, embraced the young Rithu, but this only made Malati angry. On the other hand, Raju was also in a romantic relationship with a girl named Tara. Nikhil, Tara's best friend who knew about the relationship, visited her at her library to warn her against being involved with Raju. Nevertheless, Tara insisted on continuing her relationship with Raju. At the same time, Raju arrived at the library, causing Tara to panic and ask Nikhil to hide before Raju saw him. Tara had to do this because she knew that Raju would not be happy to see his girlfriend talking to another man. Unfortunately, Nikhil ignored Tara's advice and directly warned Raju to stay away from Tara. Worried that Nikhil might get hurt by Raju, Tara became upset and threw Nikhil out of the library. When Raju and the others gathered at their headquarters, Cannon revealed his plan to start an illegal business with Ranjit. However, Raju opposed the plan, arguing that he did not want to see Kota turn into a drug trafficking hub. Shortly afterward, Rithu arrived at the headquarters, prompting Raju to instruct everyone to behave gently as he didn't want his younger sister to see his bad habits. At that moment, Rithu asked Raju to celebrate her birthday, and without hesitation, he organized a simple birthday party for his sister. After the party, Raju received a call from someone asking him to deal with a problem. Therefore, Raju temporarily left Rithu in Kanan's care while he went to handle the mission. When Malati found out that Rithu was with Kanan and secretly met with Raju, she repeatedly hit Rithu. Kanan tried to stop her, but he ended up getting slashed by Ravi. When Raju learned about the incident, he went on a rampage at home, unable to accept that his good friend had been harmed by his own family. Angered by Raju's behavior, Ravi then beat his son. The next day, Raju received a package from Ranjit containing photos of Tara cozying up with Nikhil at the beach. Ranjit then met with Raju and told him that Tara had been cheating with Nikhil. Knowing that Raju was getting upset, Ranjit invited Raju to his headquarters where he had Tara locked up. Unexpectedly, when Raju met Tara, she admitted that she had only pretended to love Raju. Hearing this broke Raju's heart, but he vented his frustration by beating up all of Ranjit's men before eventually leaving her. Since that day, Raju appeared heartbroken and spent his time drinking, causing all the gang members, including Kanan, to distance themselves from him. In this situation, Kanan, not wanting his gangster business to fall apart, decided to meet with Ranjit to collaborate on a narcotics business. During this meeting, Kanan met Manju for the first time, who was Ranjit's partner. Seeing that Raju's life was falling apart, Ranjit tried to take advantage of the situation to eliminate him, but Raju ended up defeating all of Ranjit's men sent to his headquarters. After that incident, Raju began to suspect Kanan of working with Ranjit, so he intercepted Kanan under a bridge while he was carrying a package. Without hesitation, Raju checked the package and found it contained narcotics that he intended to distribute. Furious that Kanan had betrayed him, Raju beat Kanan severely, leaving his right eye nearly blind. Feeling disappointed with those around him, Raju decided to leave the gangster life and live alone on the streets. Malati, aware of this, told Raju to leave Kota because he had become a disgrace to the family, which could negatively impact Rithu's future. For the sake of his younger sister, Raju ultimately left Kota and was never heard from again. With Raju gone, Kanan grew more powerful and acted without restraint. Returning to the present, Tony informed Shahol that he had been investigating Raju's whereabouts for the past 10 years, discovering that he was now in the city of Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. Upon hearing this, Shahol instructed Tony to send a letter to the Lucknow police, requesting Raju's complete records, as he intended to bring Raju back to Kota. After receiving a response from the Lucknow police, it was confirmed that Raju was a former infamous hitman. Without delay, Shahol asked Tony to send a letter to Raju stating that his younger sister was in danger. The next day, Tony arrested Jinnu, who was on a date with Rithu at a cafe, because Jinnu was known to be a gangster involved in illegal activities in Kota. Rithu was shocked, especially since she had always known Jinnu as a good young man. At home, Rithu received a warning from Tara to break off her relationship with Jinnu. Unexpectedly, this conversation was overheard by Ravi, who became angry. At the same time, Jinnu came to Rithu's house to explain everything about himself, but an enraged Ravi beat up Jinnu and drove him away. On another occasion, Jinnu was seen ransacking Tara's house after finding out that she had tried to influence Rithu to stay away from him. The next day, at the market, Jinnu forced Rithu to resume their relationship, but a disillusioned Rithu refused, which enraged him. In his fury, Jinnu poured gasoline on Rithu, intending to set her on fire. Rithu quickly ran to save herself. Fortunately, Tony arrived just in time and immediately went in search of Jinnu to arrest him for attempting to murder Rithu. After some searching, Tony finally found Jinnu, who was being strangled by Raju. Tony then tried to convince Raju to hand Jinnu over to the police, but he chose to cut Jinnu's veins, killing him. Jinnu's death left Manju devastated, prompting Kanan to order his men to investigate Raju's whereabouts after he killed Jinnu. Meanwhile, Tony, who was with Raju, recounted Kanan's cruelty since becoming the gang leader. At that moment, Shahol arrived and warned Raju to regularly report to the police station because he was now a suspect in Jinnu's murder. Apparently, Shahol intentionally made Raju an outside detainee to prevent him from fleeing Kota. That night, Raju passed by Tara's library and could only watch her from a distance. Raju then went to see his family, but Ravi seemed unwilling to talk to him. Rithu, however, was happy to see her brother back. After ensuring his family was doing well, Raju took his leave, and Ravi handed him a letter from the late Malati, who had passed away some time ago. Shortly after, Raju opened the letter at a bar, where he read Malati's message expressing her hope that Raju would always live happily. Shortly afterward, Kannan and his men approached him, subtly attempting to persuade him to leave Kota. At that moment, Raju realized that Kannan was doing this out of fear that his position as gang leader in Kota would be threatened by his presence. During their conversation, Kannan received a call from one of his men, informing him that Raju was a notorious hitman in Lucknow. Upon hearing this, Kannan tried to befriend Raju by inviting him to the soccer field where they used to play together. On another day, Manju went to the police station to report Raju for the murder of Jinu. However, Shahol paid little attention to her report and instead began to incite her to take revenge on Raju herself. Meanwhile, Raju was visiting Kalikutty, who was delighted to see him. Kalikutty then shared her grievances about how Kannan had thrown her out of the house to support his wife. At that moment, Jinu's biker gang arrived, seeking revenge on Raju without knowing his true identity, and with his fighting skills, Raju easily defeated the gang. From the gang members, Raju learned that Jinu's gang had been using the grounds of Tara's house as their headquarters. Enraged, Raju went to her library and set it on fire to prevent the troublemakers from gathering there again. Meanwhile, at Kannan's residence, Manju was frustrated because her plan to eliminate Raju using the biker gang had failed. She then urged Kannan to take immediate revenge on Raju, leaving him conflicted between his loyalty to his wife and his friendship with Raju. The next day, while Raju was at the soccer field, Shahol approached him and offered to clear Raju of the murder charges if he would eliminate Kannan and his gang. Realizing that Shahol was trying to pit him against Kannan, Raju refused the offer, stating that he considered Kannan to be like a brother. Hearing Raju's decision, Shahol could do nothing and decided to leave. Shortly after, Kannan arrived at the soccer field to reminisce. At that moment, Raju was happy to see his friend enjoying the field as they used to in the past. After finishing their game, Raju and Kannan went drinking at a hotel, and he expressed his disappointment in Kannan for evicting Kalikutty. Kannan admitted that he had to do it for the sake of Manju, the woman he loved. After seeing Raju pass out from drinking, Kannan left the hotel and secretly ordered his men to disguise themselves as hotel staff and kill Raju. The next morning, Kannan was shocked to receive a package containing the severed head and feet of his men who had been ordered to kill Raju the night before. Despite not having a weapon, Raju had managed to eliminate Kannan's men with ease. Knowing this, Kannan then received a call from Raju, who challenged Kannan to face him directly rather than sending others to do the job. Sometime later, in the busy city center, Kannan's henchmen attempted to attack Raju, but he was able to handle and defeat dozens of Kannan's men with ease. After the commotion, Kannan and his gang suddenly disappeared from the city. According to Tony, Kannan had not disappeared but was rather devising a strategy for revenge. At Ravi's house, for the first time, he spoke to Raju and informed him that Tara had always been waiting for his return. Therefore, Ravi requested that Raju marry Tara as soon as possible. Hearing this, Raju then went to visit Tara at her house. However, to his surprise, she was attacked by Kannan, who had sneaked into her house. Panicking, Raju rushed into her house and took her to the hospital, hoping she could be saved. Upon arriving at the hospital, Raju received a phone call from Kannan, who instructed him to go to the seashore if he wanted to see his family safe. When he arrived at the location, Raju was shocked to find Ravi hanging lifelessly. Due to this incident, Tony at the police station expressed his frustration to Shahol for bringing Raju back to Kota, which led to Ravi and Tara becoming victims. Meanwhile, at the cremation site, Raju appeared sorrowful as he witnessed the death of his father because of Kannan. Kalikutty, knowing this, urged Raju to eliminate Kannan for harming the people dear to him. One evening, when Raju visited Kalikutty's residence, he was suddenly struck from behind by someone, causing him to lose consciousness. Upon waking up, he found himself tied up in an abandoned warehouse. At that moment, Kannan and his henchmen were delighted because they had captured Raju, while giving Manju a chance to avenge the death of Jinu. Kannan then repeatedly stabbed Raju, and just before he could finish him off, Raju revealed a secret about Manju. He then exposed that Manju was once a lady of the night, and Jinu, whom everyone thought was her younger brother, was actually her son, born when she was only 13. Ashamed and humiliated by the revelation of her secret, Manju chose to leave, followed by Cannon, who sought an explanation from her. At the same time, Shahol and other police officers arrived to arrest Cannon and all his gang members. At that moment, Cannon couldn't resist as Shahol pointed a gun at him. Meanwhile, Tony, searching for Raju in the warehouse, reported that he found no one there, leaving Cannon and his henchmen shocked. 3 weeks later, Cannon and his gang re-emerged as the most feared gangsters in Kota after Raju's disappearance. That night, Cannon met with Manju to express that he would accept her despite her dark past. They also discussed Jinu, which led them to visit the place where his body was kept. Upon arriving, Cannon and Manju were shocked to find that Jinu's body had disappeared and been replaced by the body of one of Cannon's henchmen. Knowing this, Cannon immediately contacted his other henchmen. Unexpectedly, Raju had returned to Kota, and through the phone call, Cannon heard his henchmen being shot by Raju. Cannon's surviving henchmen attempted to chase Raju, but they were easily taken down by him. The next day, the townspeople found Cannon's henchmen hanging in the same manner that Cannon had used to kill Ravi. Surprisingly, Raju's return was part of a plan by Shahol and Tony. During the police raid on Cannon in the abandoned warehouse, Shahol ordered 2 militant members of Ranjit to rescue Raju. After Raju recovered, he agreed to Shahol's proposal to eliminate Cannon and all his associates. At the police station, when Cannon saw the bodies of all his henchmen, he became furious and demanded that Tony reveal Raju's whereabouts. Shortly after, Raju called Cannon and challenged him to a fight that night. That night, Cannon awaited Raju's arrival at his house, prepared to fulfill their promise of a fight to the death. When Raju arrived, Cannon's henchman maid Billa appeared ready to draw his machete. Unexpectedly, Billa turned against Cannon and sided with Raju, who had promised to make him the leader of the gang in Kota. Additionally, Billa desired to marry Manju, which led him to betray Cannon. However, Cannon remained unafraid, confident in his top men who were prepared to fight Raju. Without wasting time, a fierce battle broke out between Raju and Cannon's henchmen. After defeating all of Cannon's men, Raju engaged in a duel with Cannon, eventually overpowering him. Although Raju had no intention of killing Cannon, he had brought along Ranjit's son, who sought revenge for his father's death at Cannon's hands. Without hesitation, Ranjit's son shot Cannon dead. In the film's conclusion, Billa demanded Raju honor his promise to make him the gang leader. However, since Raju did not want Kota to become a hub for gangsters, he shot Billa dead. Moral lesson from the story: never try to make friends with a gangster just because he likes soccer. He might stab you in the back, both literally and figuratively. And remember, if you think your family drama is bad, at least you're not battling a mafia boss in a coffee shop.